Hi guys from the Thoughtful Gardener. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about potting plants that have outgrown their container. Now I got this absolutely gorgeous African basil at my local garden center, and you can see that the plant is totally root bound here, and that's why it is starting to sort of get a little weepy in the leaves because it really is dying to be repotted. So I've got my new garden cart here. I'm really excited about that. I've got potting soil, the new container it's going to go in, some scissors, and some newspaper that I have saved from the local sales circulars. I like to take the circular paper and use it in the bottom of the pot. So you can see I've got a pot here. I have washed it thoroughly with soap and water, warm soapy water, and then I'm going to put it in the bottom like so over the holes that were created for this pot so that the soil will not escape when I water it. Now, if you look at this plant, you want to pick a pot that's just slightly larger than the previous container that it came in. If you put it in too large of a container, it actually can cause a problem and not actually make the plant grow that well. So you want to just go up on the next size. So that's what we're going to do here. So let's show you how that is going to work and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use potting mix. Now, potting mix is specially formulated for plants that are going to go in a pot. Why can't you use garden soil? Garden soil is just a little too heavy for a pot. And so this is going to be mixed in with things like perlite, which are going to allow air and water to quickly drain through the pot. Now, Miracle Grow in this case is also going to be putting in some fertilizer because plants and pots actually need somewhat more fertilization than that you would do typically in the garden. So once you've opened this up, you want to make sure that it's thoroughly wet. So the problem is these come typically and they're quite dry. So what you may need to do is put it in a bowl or a container first and get it nice and moist. Now, I'm just going to fill this. This is actually not really that bad, but I've got water here in case it was not moist enough. But we're just going to go ahead and put some of this in the container, and then we're going to add our plant. Now, we want the plant to sit at the current level that it's at. We don't want it too deep. We don't want it too high. So we want it to be pretty much level. So we'll take the plant. We're just going to give it a little bit of a measure. Now, if we put this in there, it's still a little too deep, so we're going to add a little more potting soil here. Okay, and we're going to try this again. Okay, like so. That's really a lot better. So it's going to be sitting at the level that I want it to sit, so that now we're going to be tucking the plant by using soil around the edges of the plant. So the first thing I want to show you here is that this plant is pretty well root bound. So we're going to just go ahead and remove these excess roots. That's really not going to be necessary. And you can see it's not really wanting to come out of here that easily. So you just want to gently squeeze it. You can even cut this, but I like to reuse these, and we're going to do that here. And you can see the very tight root structure. So this guy really definitely wanted to be repotted. So we're just going to help him out a little bit by separating these roots out. Now what I'm trying to do is tease here. I'm not trying to cut these roots because I'm going to want these roots to grow into the new soil. So we're just going to kind of tease them out a little bit. And if necessary, you could use a knife to do this. But these roots really are not that difficult to separate for me. And you're going to do that on each side, like so. And this basil, I mean, smells amazing. I'm really super excited to make some dishes with it. You know, in the winter time, it's really great to have fresh herbs in your home. It will get you in the mood. As you can see out the window, there's a lot of snow, and they're calling for more this week. So we are in the planting mood here in central Pennsylvania. I can assure you of that. And then let's see how we like it in the container. So I think that looks pretty good. And now we're going to tuck in those roots. So it's time to tuck him in. This is what we're going to do. We're just going to take handfuls of soil and we're going to spin the pot. So, you know, I really am loving this idea of a potting bench. My husband gets a little frustrated with me because I typically do this in our kitchen and it makes a huge mess, but this is completely designed for this. So as you can see, it's got high sides so the soil stays contained, and all of my potting things will sit down here. And it's really perfect because this is where my plants overwinter, because these are south-facing windows. So when you are growing things inside that have been outside, a south-facing window is really quite ideal if you have one, because it's going to get the most sun in the winter time. So I've got a pretty good amount of soil here, and I'm just going to fill it up to the same level that the previous plant was. And eventually this potting bench will make it into my new greenhouse, but it's going to help me with getting all my seedlings ready for the spring gardens. I'm really excited about that. So with the movement of my current pollinator garden, since the greenhouse is going to be going in that space, I'm going to be doubling the size of the pollinator garden. I'm so excited about that, but it's going to be a lot of work because all of those plants in that raised bed are going to have to be banked, and then all of the pieces of the current pollinator garden are going to have to be moved out, and then we're going to be doing some work. You can see my lovely assistant in the back. Can you see her hanging out the window? Come here, Scout. Come on up. Anyway, we're going to be putting all of the current plants in the new pollinator garden. We're going to be moving all of the raised beds into the new pollinator garden, doubling the size of it. It's about half a football field long. I'm really excited about that. And then we're going to be doing the raised garden method. So there's going to be tons and tons of videos as we go through this process. And I can't wait to show you the final result. I'm so excited about that. So here we are, voila, our beautiful plant. And I'm going to take it over to the sink now and really water it well so that the water drains out of the plant. That's really important. You want the soil to be very moist but not soggy, and you want to keep it such that the plant is going to be happy and well watered in the container. And then it's just going to sit in this room with its friends until we get out next summer, and it'll be sitting on my porch. So it'll be easily accessible right outside my kitchen when I'm ready to cook. Hope you guys are having a great day. Take care.